Here we go, and it's time for another sprint zone. Heading up County Road 5, the group is in reasonable order. I prefer 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, but as we get past, I don't know, the first 4 or 5, riders or so, it gets a little janky where people just don't want to ride like handlebar to handlebar, which, I guess, I'll just keep preaching this. It just looks sloppy. There's a little bit of wind coming off of our right shoulder, and you can see in Michael's loose burnt orange kit, it was flapping a little bit, and so you can definitely see, where the wind is coming from, and people are trying to get as much shelter as possible. I'm tucked in here now, and I'm next to Isla. The windy side is the right-hand side here, and there are strong men, Curtis and Steve, on the sheltered side, where there are weaker members on the right. Now, I normally, if I'm a stronger rider and I see the weaker rider there, I will go and take some of the win for them. And it's a part of being mindfulness of the group, what the group is doing, what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish. And a lot of people don't do that. They just ride. They just get on their bike and they just get in like NPC mode and they just do whatever there is going to do. But I digress. That section of it's a little janky, so people are trying to avoid things, looking rearward, and you can see strong men back there, at least in the form of Ben Nelson on the right. And I would like to thank him for his power numbers and telemetry, along with Scott Polya, as usual, for his video and his telemetry. Always makes things interesting. And as the screen says, it's for 813. Nice crew here today as we head into the melee area. I like to say John Bradley's riding really strong these days. As of note, I don't know if anybody else is noticing, but I am pretty mindful of who's riding strong, what they're doing, etc., etc. Sometimes I comment on it, sometimes I don't. Good shot of Isla there with the nice skin wall tires and the Aero helmet. I should probably get one of the Aero helmets. And here we go. Got legendary JC up front, who will be taking it easy today as he doesn't want to go too hard. And even though it was a pretty easy corner, it took a little bit. Like, people should be mindful. Those who have not raced, or who are those who don't sit at the back very often, even when you come through at a normal speed and you start picking it up, there are people at the back slowing down for those corners, and it stretches out a little bit. But I digress. Good shot of Ben Nelson there, moving up on the outside, and no one wants to grab his wheel. And this is a danger sign. This shows that there's a lot of wheel suckers, and they just want to just sit back and ride coattails the entire time. Biding their time, they don't care. But I'm not for any of this, so I've got to move up here. I don't want Ben going off the front unchallenged with a lot of people that are not willing to do any work up front. That just makes for a gap that opens up coming through here. And I would have expected like Curtis and Steve to get on Ben's wheel, and I don't know why they did not. Maybe it's the mindfulness they don't have. They don't understand tactics. Maybe they've never raced. They don't understand good tactics. I understand the tactics. I just don't have the strength to be able to execute. But I slot in behind JC, who has been doing a lion's share of the work. Looking rearward, there's John, and I will say he is probably one of the most tactical riders in the group. He will not do work unless he has to. And if I was racing, I'd be doing exactly what he was doing in this video, and I'll point that out later. I've got third wheel, and unfortunately, I did not bring my power meter. I didn't charge it. I didn't bring my good heart rate monitor, so there's none of my telemetry on the screen. But I am working pretty good, and you can tell from what the others are doing what I might be doing here. I would say that Ben and JC are two of the most aero riders in the group. Nice little wave there, and it's unfortunate that more people didn't follow Ben on the way up. It's unfortunate that people didn't follow me on the way up. So, like I said, there's John, who was directly behind me. He did not come through because he is tactically, like, basically an opportunist. And it's good racing strategy. I'm surprised others just didn't try to go around him, but they too are just utilizing the extreme comfort of the draft way back, and I can't fault them. You know, there are people that want to get stronger, and there are people that have ego that it's about how well they do here. But it is a sprint zone, and everyone has their own individual goals, so I can't really fault anybody here. Good shot of Mr. Nelson, and you can see his power there, and he throws it into the 400 range as he goes to the front, and no one follows him. Obviously, John was behind him. He's not going to do anything. Steve is capable of going with him, but he just doesn't do anything here. He's kind of waiting for JC, because this is where people, they rely on the supers to do that. So quick cutaway to Scott's camera. Mine was switching files at the time, so it's nice to be able to switch to see what's going on back there. Scott nicely tucked in, not throwing down a ton of wattage, but even looking at his, 30-second wattage, 270, and his instantaneous was in the 300. So this was not an easy effort by any means. I'm still third wheel, and Ben is off the front, and look at that power, 30-second power, 375. This is dangerous. Not only is he one of the stronger riders, he's one of the more aero riders. And the wheel suckers, the NPCs, maybe they can't do anything. I don't think I could have done anything, but I know there are people that could have given JC some respite here. JC, no doubt, putting out similar wattage if he's, keeping Ben in check. So now I come through, speed 23 miles an hour, and no one comes with me. Lame as F. Like, what the hell, guys? This is like lame. So finally, Curtis, I don't know if he shamed into coming through or whatever, or because I was slowing down, but finally people are starting to come through here. I'm going to try to stay on Curtis's wheel, but there's effort up here, and I wish I kind of did have my watt meter. So notice some people have moved through, and notice how John in the white sleeves has moved back, getting more shelter as people are trying to recover Ben's effort up there. But look at Ben, 30 seconds, over 300 for a long period of time. His heart rate up to 170. You know Ben is working hard. Wanted to stay away from people. Now I've got a nice slot here. And, you watch these videos and you have no idea how hard this really is, but it's challenging coming off the front. And I believe it is Michael up front, who is Ian's son, super strong man on a gravel bike, not wearing the most aero of kits, but he's willing to do some work here. And you'll see Scott going to the front because he's like, okay, guys, somebody needs to do some work. And there are people that are close that should be rotating. And you know who you are because you can see him in the video not pulling through when they got plenty of strength here. They're just waiting for other people to do the work. And Scott doing the lion's share of work. And look at his power there. Instantaneous over 400, 30-second, 350, and going up. And this is not an easy train to follow at this point. If you are sitting in, you're, not doing any work, it's easy for you to recover. Looking rearward, you can see the struggle bus back there, but everyone is still able to maintain contact on that one. And then it looks like Scott pulls off, and the speed just drops, 21, 22. And now it's good. Steve has taken over, and he's doing a good work. He's a strong man. And tactically, I don't know if he made the best decision there of not following Ben early on because he had the opportunity to. Maybe he didn't think he could hold on, but I would say any of the people up here that if they can get Ben's wheel, it would be like JC, I would say Scott, I would say Curtis and Steve up here, they would be able to hold it. It's just who's willing to make the effort to make that gap. So Ben looks like he's recovering almost. No, he's not. Heart rate up to 172, so he is drilling it up there with the wattage up to 284 for 30 seconds. I wish I had longer term wattage outputs, and I actually think I do. I think I have some of the telemetry that gets in there is like lap time, which is like 5-minute average. Maybe I'll look at that and show that next time. So here we go. People are looking to do work at the front, and there is Scott doing his turn. More than the lion's share, and he's putting out good wattage, but you can see he's tired. Like 195, 198, 200. Scott's capable of a lot more than this, but he's done a lot of work up there, and there are fresh men. Those that are capable of helping, not helping. Just sitting in, opportunist, whatever. I mean, Think of what would have happened if I would have changed my tactics. If when JC wheeled his arm and I did not come through and sat up, it would have been the same that happened a few weeks ago. Everyone bunches up and recovers, and everyone looks around. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. People don't want to work hard. They just want to ride the gravy train here. Well, anyway, I come through reluctantly. I didn't really want to. I'm kind of tired. I don't know what my wattage is, but I'm like, I'll just keep it honest up here and at least do my own and get some work done here. Marcelo, back there on my coattail, take note here, he has not coming to the front yet. Maybe it's just too much for him, and as my speed slows down a little bit, it is Steve and Curtis come through. Now, I didn't realize that, Marcelo is, on my wheel here, and when I come back, I'm expecting, as I look over, to see JC or somebody and just grab their wheel, but now I'm forced. I look over and I'm like, oh crap, I can't move over when I want to get behind the train, so I slip off the back here and have to struggle to try to maintain contact with this accelerating group here up this little grade, and I am able to claw myself back here onto the peloton. And you'll look in Scott's camera in the upper right, big man on the gravel bike, Byron Besserell, who had been riding coattails also. He'd been on vacation in Mexico, Europe, or wherever, and had not been on the bike, but now he shows himself. And Scott, just to be on his wheel, 500 plus watts as the group goes away from me because I have nothing at this point. And rest assured, there's a lot of people that are sitting in, they aren't as strong as I am, but they didn't do any work. This is the moment that they saved themselves for. And if I was racing, I'd have been saving myself too, but I'm looking for some work here. Now we switch over to Scott's camera. Good view of the man, the cape flapping there, and Scott throwing out 400 and some watts for 30 seconds. So you know what Byron is throwing out there. There's the elbow, and Scott comes through. Maybe there's a chance to bring back Ben, and I like to see the battle of the supers. When you see people like Byron, JC, and them going after it, Ben just eking out the victory here. Well done, because that was a long time to be out there. Well done. That was good. Kind of wish I'd have been there. Maybe I will next time. Maybe I'll sit in. But as I've said in previous videos, I feel guilty. I'm sitting in back there while the big men do the work, and I'm feeling guilty. And I'm surprised that some of these other wheel sucker NPCs aren't feeling guilty for not contributing. Because what you're not contributing to is the gain of strength here, of your own strength. I mean, yeah, you might be gaining a little bit because, it helps your sprint ability. Being able to throw 400 watts out at the end of a sprint is something. And maybe I should be doing that, but I don't, because I'm more fast twitch. So I could sit in and I would do reasonably well at the sprints. But that's my strength, and I don't want to work on my strength. I'm going to work on my weakness, and that is anaerobic efforts over unders, and I'm wishing more people would also contribute there. There's no honor. There is no honor in just riding coattails. I mean, it makes your ego feel good, but honor, not so much. But like I said, everybody's in it for their own. They can do whatever they want. So in any case, peace out until next time.